Josh or Drewery?
Thanks, Yahya. Thanks, everybody. I just want to pick up on one of the issues that Sue raised in respect to women's rights, and in particular the arrest of women's rights defenders. Now, this came in May of this year. Many continue to be held and indeed have faced torture. But it's in this context of change, social change, political change, that this particular incident sums up the predicament of Saudi Arabia in 2018. And we have a narrative from the government in which there's this opening, social change, right to drive, that has captivated and interested many Western states, allies of the government. But these aspirations have come up, face to face, in contradiction with a political culture that has not encouraged, has indeed criminalized freedom of expression, freedom of association, and so on. Again, that Sue referred to, and also the international human rights standards to which Saudi Arabia has pledged, said it would align itself with. And along with, again, these human rights defenders, women human rights defenders, on the back of the right to drive having been granted, their commentators were saying, well, they should speak out a bit more, they should push a bit more and advocate for the rights that have already been granted. But that itself comes up against the inherent pre-existing practices in relation to male guardianship, laws and practices, and the social and structural limitations such as those in relation to freedom of expression and association that we've already referred to. So it's in this really fascinating context of change that at least 10 women human rights defenders, including some men, were arrested. Aziza Al-Yusuf, a retired computer science programmer, Lujain Al-Hathrul, a social activist. She took part in a session at the United Nations in respect to women's rights, one of the treaties to which Saudi Arabia is a state party. Iman Al-Nafjan, as a linguistics professor, Samar Badawi, undertook the first lawsuit in order to get women the right to vote, and Shadan Al-Anazi. And these women, and indeed some of the men as well, have subsequently faced torture. And it is the context in which that itself took place, which again sums up some of the issues that Sue referred to that the annual report addresses, about how it took place. Now, reflecting this inability to accommodate freedom of expression and association, well, what happened? What are they accused of? For speaking out, they were accused vaguely, nothing specified, indeed haven't actually been charged. They're accused of treason. Treason against what? They're held in unofficial places of detention. Some people call it a hotel. Reflecting the problems, again, that Sue referred to, that the report addresses in respect to the administration of justice. Thirdly, in respect to torture. Saudi Arabia is a state party to the Convention Against Torture. Nobody obliged them to sign up to this particular International Human Rights Convention. They did it of their own free volition. Nevertheless, an advisor of the Crown Prince, present at the interrogation sessions, is reported to have said that, who's there to protect you? We can dissolve your body in acid and flush you down the toilet. And who's going to protect you? They were threatened with rape, that they would be killed. They were subjected to forms of groping and touching and stripped naked, subject to electric shocks and falaka, beating on the soles of the feet. Despite, again, coming up face to face in confrontation with these international obligations that Saudi Arabia has signed. So it's in relation to this context of change, where these confrontations, where this face-to-face with social change, where that's taking place, that we have decided, ALQST has decided, to undertake a campaign in relation to these women human rights defenders. Starting from today, indeed through the month of March, we are going to be standing with these Saudi heroes. We going to talk about their heroism in standing up for human rights and facing down the human rights violations. And we're going to try and capitalize on that one other change that's happening increasingly in Saudi Arabia. And that's that. And these are where the hints of hope come from, I think, that people are starting to speak out. Family members of Lujaina Hathlul are speaking out. That there are more and more people like Yahya and other activists abroad who are speaking out. The time for change, the darkness, extreme darkness before dawn, could be at hand. We could be witnessing it. We want to contribute it to that, encourage it, and make use of it. And as I say, we're going to stand with these Saudi heroes, the women human rights defenders, with Aziz Al-Yusuf, Lujaina Al-Hathlul, Iman Al-Nafjan, Samar Badawi, Shadan Al-Anazi. Stand with them until they're free. And with that, I want to thank you, and I'll turn it back to my colleagues.
Thank you very much, Drewery.